Hey guys, it's Jim here. It's time for another video, and as you can see from the title, this is my manga collection. Now, I was asked to do this before KittyCon, but obviously since I've been to a convention, I've bought more manga. So I might as well just get this started because I was actually requested to do this, and it's been a while since KittyCon, so yeah, sorry about the delay. So the first set of volumes I've got is a really old one. Unfortunately, it's not in print anymore. I don't know if a new company is taking it up. I really hope so because it's a really good series. It is called DramaCon, and this is a series about Christy, who is here, who goes to a very first comic convention, like Comic-Con, and it just so happens it turns into a romance story, which is pretty cool. Doesn't normally happen often, from what I know, going to a convention and fall in love with someone straight away. But yeah, it's actually a really good series, quite funny as well. And I would definitely suggest picking it up. And it just so happened when I actually went to my very first comic convention, I actually met the artist and I got the giant collector's edition, and she actually signed it for me, which is pretty cool. So yeah, this one's more for collecting, and then I sort of just read these like crazy. So yeah. So the next one I've got is actually a series of mangas that I found in Waterstones. So I was like, oh, I wonder what this is about. So I actually read it online first. I liked it that much that I actually bought it, and it is called Midnight Secretary, and it's basically a romance story again, but this time it's with a vampire because she works for a boss and the boss is a vampire, and then it's just sort of typical romance story between vampires and humans saying no, they can't be together and all this sort of stuff. But it's actually pretty good. Better story than Twilight, that's for sure. The only thing about this manga is that it is not for kids. It does actually say on the back that this is a mature series because there is a couple of scenes obviously not suitable for children, but there's nothing extreme, like you don't see everything. But it's a pretty good series, and I would suggest picking it up if you're into romance stories with vampires. So yeah. Next is a series which is actually an anime, and usually if an anime that I absolutely love is a manga, I do buy it. Most of the time I prefer watching anime over reading manga. Not with these ones though. I bought Sword Art Online because I absolutely love this series, and if I'm going to be honest, the anime is much better because of the artwork in this. It's just not as good as, you know, typical anime and manga style, but it's still really good, and if you don't have the money to buy the anime on DVD, this is much quicker and easier to get hold of. Next is a manga series which I actually watched as an anime a long time ago as it was coming out, and I do mean a long time ago because it is called Sugar, and this has been out for a very long time, as I said, and it doesn't really have much of a fan base anymore. And I only got this because someone was actually selling quite a lot of the volumes for £30 on eBay, so I was like, that's a pretty good deal. So I only had to buy the last 3 volumes, and I've now got the whole set. So it is a magical anime series, but if I'm going to be honest, it is much better than some of the other ones I've seen, because I haven't actually bothered watching any magical anime girl series because half of them are just the same. But yeah, it's a pretty good series. I would suggest checking it out if you're into sort of magical girl series, because it is much better. Next is a series which I've had since I can remember, to be honest. It is called Happy Castle High, and I actually bought this back in Waterstones like years ago, and I could never find the last 3 volumes because for some reason comic conventions and stores just never had it, and I was too lazy to buy them online. Just so happened actually last week someone was actually selling them on Facebook, so I thought, you know what, I've waited long enough to get the rest of these. I bought them on Facebook from someone, and I now have the whole series. So it is actually another romance story. It's pretty average, you know, it's nothing amazing, but it's still pretty good. So yeah, if you like romance stories, there's got a couple of options I'm giving you. Next is a series which I think I actually got as a Christmas present or a birthday present, and unfortunately the originals are not in print anymore. They were originally from Tokyo Pop, which, like I said, they're out of business. But it is called Alice in the Country of Hearts, and if you do actually want to buy this now, it is now done by Yen Press, but it is in big volumes like this. So yeah, it's pretty much Alice in Wonderland with, you know, its twist, because every single Alice in Wonderland story has its own thing to make it unique. So yeah, it's pretty good if you like Alice in Wonderland. Definitely pick it up. So next is a series which I have had since I can remember, like a few of the other ones, because it's actually quite an old series, and it's one of the very first series of mangas that I actually got, and it just so happened I had to wait a year before I got the second half because I didn't really know about internet buying, because I was sort of that teenage age where I didn't have money and stuff. So yeah, I've got Mickey Falls, which is actually by an artist who's on YouTube, and it's because of YouTube that I actually found out about this series. So yeah, the artwork is actually really gorgeous compared to the other manga series, because I mean, just look at this artwork. It's just gorgeous. So yeah, there is actually 4 volumes in this. Unfortunately, the volumes I've got, they're actually different. These ones, they've got like a silky front cover, and this is just sort of your normal manga series stuff. So yeah, unfortunately I have got 2 different copies of the same series, but doesn't matter because I have the whole collection, and it is pretty good. So I would suggest picking these up because he is an independent artist who's on YouTube, and you can actually check out his artwork on YouTube. Of course, it's Mark Curley on YouTube. So yeah, definitely check him out. He's a really amazing artist, and he definitely should get more support. So the next one is actually one I bought last October, and it just so happened it was discounted, which was even better. And if you know me, I kind of had a Hatsune Miku / Vocaloid obsession around Christmas time. I still do love the series. But yeah, I just so happened to pick up the unofficial Hatsune mix, which is a pretty good series, to be honest. So yeah, it's a pretty cool series. It's a bunch of short stories. So there's not like one major story, but it just shows you sort of how the characters react, because in YouTube videos you only see them on stage and performing. This gives you a bit more insight to what their personalities look like. And one of the little things that I really like about this, it's got a little art prints in the things in the like different chapters, which is really nice. So yeah, if you're a fan of Vocaloid, definitely go pick this up. So one more manga series I've got, I actually forgot to almost show this because I didn't put it on my shelf because I've taken a few of them off. It is called Night School. Now this is actually by the artist who made Dramacon. Like I said, that was one of my favourite manga series, so I decided to pick this up. And over to how much for Dramacon, but this is still a really good series. It's basically about a night school where basically you've got people who are sort of not really witches like Harry Potter, but they do magic, and there's like werewolves and vampires and werns, which is a particular breed of witches, it says on the back. So yeah, it's a really good series. If you like magic and Harry Potter and that stuff, and werewolves and vampires, do pick this up. It's a really good series, and it's got some cool action sequences in it. So right, the last of the full series before I go into the series of mangas that I'm actually collecting at the moment. The last one is called The Dreaming. Now this is one where I had the first volume for ages, couldn't find the second or third, and it just so happened I went to MCM Expo and they were selling the collection, so I'm guessing they did what they did with Dramacon and just put them all in one thing, because this is actually by Tokyo Pop as well. And if I'm going to be honest, this is one of my least favourite manga series I've read. No offence to the artist or the writer, it's still pretty good. It's just, it's a horror series, and I'm not really into horror. It's not even scary, it's just sort of a murder mystery sort of thing, but it's still pretty good if you're into like mysteries and stuff. It's probably your cup of tea, but it's not mine, but it's still pretty good. And I'm glad I actually finished the series and finally got round to reading it, because I hate it when I have a series and I just haven't completed it. And talking about series that aren't complete, like I said, these are the mangas that I'm currently collecting at the present moment, because they've only just recently come out. Oh, there's a lot of volumes, including this first one. So the first one here is actually possibly one of my favourite anime series of all time, but unfortunately it gets a lot of hate. And when I say a lot of hate, I mean a lot of hate. It is Umineko no Nakakoroni. It's basically by the creators who created Higurashi, and if you don't know about Higurashi, it's a murder mystery, but this is a murder mystery with magic and much cooler characters. But unfortunately, like I said, the anime gets a lot of hate, and unfortunately they only had one season, so it sort of ends on a cliffhanger. But luckily the manga is actually continuing on from the anime, which I have been waiting to find out what happens at the end for so many years. So yeah, if you've watched Higurashi, kind of check out Umineko, and then maybe buy the manga if you enjoy it. But like I said, a lot of people hate this, and it's a real shame because it's a really good series. So yeah. Next is one I actually got as a Christmas / birthday present, and I've actually been really enjoying this. It is called Black Rose Alice, and from the title I thought it was going to be another like Alice in Wonderland story. It's not. It's actually a story about vampires, and it's a little bit confusing. It's a bit difficult to explain the story, but basically she has to choose a husband with a bunch of guys. You sort of like your harem kind of anime, but without the sort of goofiness. It's quite a serious manga series, and it's actually really interesting. It is currently coming out. There is only 4 volumes at the present moment, and I think there's going to be about 5 or 6 of them, so I'm actually really excited to see how this ends and to see who she picks, because it's really good. Next is one that I actually found in Waterstones, and it's actually another one that is really interesting. Now, I still haven't actually read the 4th volume, but it is Kiss of the Rose Princess, and this is actually another really good series that I just found, and I would definitely suggest picking it up. It's basically about this girl who loses her choker, and her dad told her if anything happens to that choker, bad things will happen. Just so happens she loses the choker, and then a bunch of these guys turn up and help her of it. There's a lot more to it, and I definitely would suggest picking it up. I mean, just look at the artwork. The artwork is very, very pretty. Next is another anime series that I absolutely love, and I heard the manga was kind of different, and at the moment it's sort of the same as the anime, just there's a few differences such as characters and a few other things. It is called Arpeggio or Blue Steel, and it is actually a battleship anime slash manga. Now, I'm not into mecha animes and all this sort of stuff, but this series is amazing, especially the anime. The anime is all in this glorious 3D animation, and it's really weird at first, but once you get used to it, it's just amazing, and I absolutely love Iona, who's on the front cover here. And yeah, like I said, it's a battleship anime. Like, I'm not really into battleships, but it's a really good series, which means it's a really good series if I can get into it. So yeah. And last but not least is one that I picked up very recently at KittyCon. I was going to wait until October, but then my friends kind of convinced me to buy it. It is Akame ga Kill. Now, if you watch my channel, you know I actually love Akame ga Kill. I actually made her costume, and there is a video to that. You can find it on my channel. So yeah, I've heard the manga goes in a very different direction to the anime, so I'm really interested to see how that happens, but there's only 3 volumes at the moment, and then the 4th one comes out when I actually go to MCM Expo. So yeah, I'm interested to see how this goes, because I don't know a lot about the differences, but I've heard the manga's much better, even though I love the anime. So that was my manga collection, and hopefully you enjoyed this video, and if there are any mangas you think I should read, comment below and I might check them out and may give you a shout out in one of my videos when I actually pick up the manga series if I really enjoy it. But I'm not quite sure what my next video is going to be, because I'm not keeping track of what I'm doing with videos at the moment. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this, and I shall see you in the next one. Bye bye.